Des Moines, and all of Central Iowa, welcome to Mac's World Live. Mac's World is your world. Every day we talk about the issues and topics that matter most to you. And as always, it's your voice we want to hear in Mac's World. So join the conversation by calling 515-244-0077. And now, here's the host of Mac's World Live, J. Michael McCoy.
All right, good afternoon. All right. 7 minutes after 3, 21st day of March in the Lord's year 2016. You know what today is?
It is March 21st.
And what does that mean?
It's the first Monday. It's the Monday before Easter. It's
Robert,
the day after the first day of spring.
It's a scientific thing.
Vernal equinox?
Thank you very much.
That's science?
Well, what do you think it would be? Anatomy?
I don't know. What is that?
That means it's the first day of spring.
Oh, I thought that was yesterday.
No, 21st. Right?
Well, actually, it was Sunday.
Oh, okay.
See, my calendar said it was Sunday, and then for some reason we had the 26th in our mind.
Yeah.
And now you're saying it's the 21st. So maybe we don't really know, Matt.
Yeah, it was Sunday yesterday.
Well, all I know is that for all of the people that showed up for the family leader kickoff of Holy Week down at the state capitol, it was a little brisk, and I'm not being sarcastic. It was just a little brisk. Most people had coats, gloves. I want you to know that I represented the radio station in fine form. I had long pants on.
Very good, Mac. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Didn't have a coat, though, but I was real comfortable. But my wife said I got a little suntan right over here.
Yeah. You know, it's amazing even when you don't think about it when it's cool outside, but the sun still shines and it still burns the skin, doesn't it?
But I want to tell you something. I gained, how do I say this? I just have to be honest. Before I became a Christian, before Jesus mugged me, I thought Bob Vanderplatz was a little out there, okay?
Too extreme politically, or what do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then after Jesus mugged me and began to reveal the scripture to me and reveal some of the reasons that some Christians do the things they do, I find that, well, it's biblical. And they're actually correct in doing things the way they do, in removing judges and doing things like that.
Sure.
Well, when he said he was going to put on this kickoff to Holy Week prayer, it was an hour long. It was a church service, basically, for If 7:14, which stands for 2 Chronicles 7:14, which in a short version says that if man will turn to my face and do the right things and be kind and take care of his neighbors and love the way I said, maybe I'll come back and heal their land. And that's my short version, obviously.
That is a Mac paraphrase, sure.
And when I heard that the family leader was going to do this event today, I was a little skeptical. If we're going to do a prayer event, let's do a prayer event. Let's not hinge some political thing on it.
Yeah.
And Bob was perfect. Perfect. He spoke for the first 15 minutes very eloquently, without a script, I might add, and gave why it was so important that we're all praying this If 714. In fact, he didn't really take as much time as I thought he should have, just given the fact that we had Drew Zahn on, and he explained how, you're going to get a text every day at 7:14 in the morning, 7:14 in the evening, and how the band, what's the band, Big Toady Weave?
No, the Newsboys.
The Newsboys are going to promote this and everything.
On their next tour, the God's Not Dead 2 tour.
Yep. And then a little unknown pastor of a small church got up and gave the gospel. I mean, just gave the gospel.
It's awesome.
And it was so interesting that all these people were walking by on both sides of us, right? Because they were right behind the cannon, if you know what that is on the west side.
Yep.
All right. So all these people, one was 2 busloads of probably 13-year-olds, and then there were legislators walking in and other people, and here we are talking about Jesus on the steps of the Capitol. And I'm thinking, well, that's cool. And then the pastor started talking about how, and he listed all these countries, including one to our north and one to our south, that if we were standing outside of a Canadian or a Colombian or a Mexican courthouse or federales, we would be shooed off. In China, obviously, Syria, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, all those places, we'd probably be jailed, maybe killed. And yet here we stand, and our biggest concern is, did I wear a thick enough coat? You know, did I wear a thick enough coat? How cold is it going to be? And I thought, we are wussies in America. We really don't realize the sacrifices that some people make to follow Christ. And I just had a neat moment with Jesus sitting there. I really did.
That's awesome. I hope other people did too. I mean, how was it a good turnout? Was it just you, Mike, and Bob?
It was just me, Mike, and Bob.
Just the three of you?
Just the three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all did like a kumbaya at the end. No, it was great. It was all the chairs were full. How many ever chairs they put out? So suppose there was 100 people there. I don't know. There wasn't thousands, but I don't think they expected thousands. The Register's got some good pictures.
Oh, awesome.
On the website already, and there's proof I was there.
Nice. Oh, so you could be concerned about getting your picture in the media.
Huh?
Well, you said the only concern you had was wearing a coat or if you were warm enough.
Oh, or I guess you
But your other concern is that people may see your picture
and know.
Well,
You're one of those.
You're one of those.
It wouldn't bother me today.
But let me read that 714. Just, I know you paraphrased it.
Okay.
That's Mac's version.
Yeah.
If
not my version. It's
Mac's version.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, paraphrased.
Yeah.
If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. So the key word there is if.
If 714.
Right. That's the whole point of the if in the name of the app. And I would remind people, I did download the app. It's available on your iPhone and Android phones and whatever, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's one of the only apps I have on my phone that I get notifications from. That, and I get notifications on Facebook notifications when my family posts stuff, just because I want to know what my family's up to. But that's it. And so it's really cool. It's 7:14 in the morning, 7:14 at night. No matter what I'm doing, I'm with my family, and they're nice. It's cool to read them out loud. I've done that. I'll just pop it open, and it's a little. It's usually scripture or a thought. Like one over the weekend, I think there was a hymn, and I started singing that song, and that was cool. And it's just neat. It's nice to be reminded intentionally twice a day to pray for our country. And I know I've been, Mac, unlike you, I've been in the Christian world my whole life, and in the evangelical Christian world for a long time. And I'll tell you that as long as I can remember, I've been told, well, we gotta pray for our country, we gotta pray for our leaders, we gotta pray, we gotta vote, we gotta be involved. And I've been told all this stuff. But as a 38-year-old, I think it just now recently became real to me that we do need to pray and pray like God called his people in the days of when Chronicles was written. To not just pray that we would elect the right person, but that we would be healed from our sin, healed from our rebellion, healed from the fact that as Christians, as the church in the United States, I think we've given up a lot of what we've been called to do. I know I have. I negate a lot of responsibilities. I fail to do things that God has called me to do on a regular basis, and that's where it's got to start. And I have to look my God in the face and say, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not doing stuff I should be doing or doing things I shouldn't be doing.
Do you think he'll forgive you?
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah, and that's the hardest. Don't we forget that though? We don't believe that, do we? We don't believe that because sometimes we think that if in 2 Chronicles is an if, as though he might forgive us. The if is on us. The if is on if we're going to do that stuff. If we would humble ourselves and come before the Lord. The if is not a maybe will God forgive us. God's going to forgive us. Now, in terms of how the future of America is going to be, we don't know. God's sovereign there, but God will forgive Mac. God will forgive Chris Roloff. God will forgive Bob. What do you mean?
If what?
Right. If we repent.
How will you be forgiven?
If we repent.
And how will you be forgiven?
Well, you always say that thing about forgiving others, but yeah.
I truly believe that God's going to judge me and forgive me and have mercy on me as I was on those who came before me.
Right, which isn't a lot of mercy, which isn't a lot of grace, which isn't a lot of forgiveness, because you haven't been very forgiving and very merciful and very gracious. So you've got a bad thing coming. So really what you should want instead of that is, instead of wanting that, Mac, you
Somebody
should
give me something sharp.
what you should want instead is the forgiveness that Jesus offers.
So I've been saying this thing at the end of the show all these years, and now you're telling me you disagree with it?
No, I agree with it, but see, there's a beautiful context in it, because the standard by I don't forgive people in the way that equal to the way that Jesus forgave me. And if I was going to be forgiven only as much as I forgive other people, I'm in really big trouble. But the good news is, the gospel is that Jesus forgave me of all my sins, that he's cleansed me from all of my sins.
You see what he's doing, Bob?
Not just a few.
See, if you look up passive-aggressive in the Funkin' Wagnall, there's Chris Roloff's picture. Because I've been saying this at the end of my show for 3 years, and now I find out he disagrees with me.
No. Jesus said that, bro. You're quoting Jesus.
I know.
But the point is that Jesus didn't say that. If that's the whole standard, you're hosed, man.
Okay.
Because if you perfectly forgiven everyone, Jesus also said, "Be holy as your Father is perfect. Be holy as your Father in heaven is holy."
I'll tell you what.
It's not passive aggressive.
I'll tell you what.
What?
There are a few people that I really believe I have forgiven like Jesus will forgive me.
I believe that.
Not everybody, but there's a few key people.
I believe that.
All right, because I need forgiveness too. So, all right, when we come back, a couple of the top news stories. Remember, it's Holy Week this week, so we're talking a lot about that place from Mount Olive to Calvary Hill. All week long, plus news next, live on The Dot.
The what?
The Dot?
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
21 minutes after 3 o'clock, 3:21. Ooh, look at that. Guess what? It's 3:21 on 3/21. March 21st. That's pretty cool. Squirrel! I'm amused by simple things.
Are you excited for it to be the year 21, and then it can be 3/21 on 2021?
The year 21. It's year 16. That'll mean 5 years from now.
Yeah, that's 2021 is 5 years from now. Let that sink in for a minute. Anyway, welcome back to Mac's World.
I'm blown away
Chris.
that it's 2016. I never thought I'd live this long.
Do you remember, did you know anybody who was flipped out in 1999 that the world was going to end in 2000? Did you know anybody at that time?
Yeah, in fact, I had just opened a business that had one of the first public internet access stations in it. Now, this is 1998, 1999. Sure. And I had a software engineer by the name of Rich. Rich, if you're listening, I still love you, who just absolutely thought for sure that Y2K was going to take everything down in the business at midnight. And so he worked diligently to make sure that didn't happen. And I will always give him credit that Y2K didn't hit me bad, because as far as I know, it might have.
There was a lot of work.
If it hadn't been for Rich's work.
You and I both have a mutual friend in Matt who lives up in Ames, who he's been involved in this world for a long, long time. He remembers that. And I mean, they've been working on it. They knew that was coming. The big flip to zero was coming. So they'd been working. I think Microsoft, everybody had been working on it. If they hadn't been, there could have been big problems. But my roommate at that time was really concerned. He was up. He wanted to see the ball drop, so to speak, in Australia. And so he was up all early or late at night or whatever it was. And I remember getting up in the morning the day after, and he was just depressed, sitting on the floor. He thought the world. He was actually hoping for the end of the world, that Christ would return and all this kind of stuff. He was hoping that Jesus would come back and get him. And
did any of you guys stash money away, cash?
I didn't. Did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Spent it next day.
Yeah.
Did you really?
All $10.
All $10 of it.
Jill King says, if my people, not if the heathens turn to me. And what she is saying that in that 2 Chronicles 7:14, it says, if my people will turn from their evil ways. And I hear Jill saying that it's the called, the predestined, the born again, the followers of Jesus. It's not the heathens.
Right. God uniquely loves his people in a way, not that he doesn't love all people, but he uniquely loves his people in that he has expectations for them. He disciplines them. He calls them. And we are called to be a light to all nations. And so when we see the world around us falling apart, God's call to us always is that we need to seek God and seek his wisdom and seek his grace, seek his forgiveness, and confess our sins and turn from our wicked ways. I think that is an ongoing promise. Obviously, 2 Chronicles was given at a particular time to a particular people, and we always have to qualify that.
Right.
But I don't think that I don't think that concept is temporary. I think it's an ongoing concept. But we've got news, don't we, Mac?
I've got a couple news stories I want to share with you. Some local, some national. One breaking. Conservatives have been worried about the sanctity of the Second Amendment following the death of Scalia, a staunch gun right advocate on the Supreme Court. Well, a decision made about 12:05, so that would be 11:05 our time today, however, has been hailed a victory for gun rights, and conservatives everywhere will be relieved to see the court standing up for the Constitution even without Scalia. The point? Stun guns. A court in Massachusetts determined that a stun gun was not to be something covered by the Second Amendment, siding instead with a woman who said she carried one as protection against an abusive former boyfriend, and the state ruled, well, it's not a gun. Well, they came back and they said, yes, it is. In an unsigned decision with no dissents, the country's highest court ruled in favor, who in 2011 was arrested for possession of a stun gun in violation of a state law banning such weapons. The state can't ban them because it's covered under the Second Amendment. So, that's a nice little story. I'm glad to see that. In other news, Barack Hussein Obama landed in Cuba today. First United States president to do that in I don't know how many years, 60-some years. And was shocked. No, I don't know if he was shocked. A lot of Americans shocked when the president of Cuba did not meet him.
Right.
At the airport.
His name's Rafael, is that right?
I think it's Raul.
I'm sorry, Raul, yeah. Castro's brother.
Yeah, because Castro's supposedly still alive but not doing well.
Yeah.
And Ted Cruz tweeted. Now, what did he tweet?
Well, I heard this from, this is hearsay on my part. I heard this from Dr. Michael Brown earlier today around, in the first segment around 1 o'clock today on 99.3. He said that Ted Cruz's response was he would not have gone and visited or seen this gentleman.
He wouldn't have gone to Cuba.
He wouldn't have gone to Cuba until they released prisoners or all that, or stopped doing all their social injustices, that kind of thing.
Well, they have some people that took flight from the U.S. that were murderers that are there. That was another thing.
Say that again,
There was
Bob?
a woman that killed a New Jersey police officer, I think, or a trooper, years ago. And she fled to Cuba. And she's living there free.
Yeah, she's living there free.
Oh, and they want her turned over. So that kind of stuff. Ted Cruz was upset about that. But I found what was interesting is that Dr. Michael Brown reported that Donald Trump's response was that if Donald Trump was president and he had gone to Cuba to visit with Raul, and Raul did not come to meet with him, the president of Cuba, that he would have just gotten back on the plane, Trump would have, and left. So that's disrespectful. And I actually, for the first time, I thought, you know what, that probably is the right way to respond. I mean, from a power perspective, that's a lot more to say, you know what, I don't have to meet with you. I came here to meet with you. I'd like some respect. I'd appreciate some hospitality, some genuine respect on your part. I've flown here to meet with you, and you know we don't have a lot of that clout anymore.
Well,
Push it around.
I'm just curious. Was there anything that said that Raul may have been sick, or couldn't make it there for some reason?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I'd also like to add this. How about security reasons? Now you've got two world leaders in the same place outside, standing outside an airplane. How about it's okay for Obama to go to the Cuban White House, whatever it is, and there they meet? I mean, I'm not so sure that was such a slam. I think that's a little overdone. One of the first times I disagree with you on that. I think that was a little overdone. This is a very volatile country down there right now. Everything's in flux. Everything's going down. Man, you want to take out the Cuban president and the American president at the same time? Boom. For even if you're a suicide bomber, boom. Big deal. World really changes overnight because of one boom. So I don't know. Now, I would also like to have asked what you've kind of said. Where was he? Why didn't he come?
Right.
What was the reason?
Right. Was it a power play on his part to say, I don't need to come meet you, you can come see me, and that kind of thing?
Which is really silly considering what America's doing for them.
Right. And again, this is just rhetoric during the political season when people are trying to tout their stuff. It's Donald Trump trying to look good, trying to sound good. Would he actually do that? I don't know. Is that just his form of political rhetoric? He just wants to make himself sound good. But I find it fascinating that Donald Trump, this is a side note, ADD moment, I guess. I find it fascinating that Donald Trump is doing lousy in the great state of Utah.
You don't find that strange at all, do you?
No.
All right, let's talk for a minute about the United States Senate race with our good Senator Grassley. Patty Judge, now she's the former lieutenant governor, and also she was also the Secretary of Agriculture for a while.
Yep.
She dived into Iowa's U.S. Senate race this month with a splash of media attention and unsettled support from the Democratic establishment in Washington. Now that she's on the ballot, though, she must prove that Democratic voters in Iowa are with her as well. Maybe not so much. Iowa Democratic leaders and activists surveyed last week called Judge's candidacy a clear signal that longtime incumbent Republican U.S. Senator Grassley is vulnerable. No, it doesn't. How does that show that he's vulnerable? It just shows somebody else wants to get into the race. Well, Patty Judge is smart enough that if she didn't think Grassley was vulnerable, she wouldn't get into the race. No, I don't think so. Even so, the news story goes, those state-level Democrats have largely declined to endorse her. And some see her late entry as a heavy-handed and unwelcome intervention from where? Washington, D.C. All right. Did you, Bob, none of us in this room did anything for spring break because we were all here working.
Correct.
But if you noticed, a good part of our community was gone. Well, you couldn't have noticed it because it filled up with a whole bunch of basketball players.
Yeah.
But we could see it in Bible studies. We could see it in other meetings. There were just, a third of the people gone.
I could see it on Facebook, everybody rubbing it in my face with their pictures of them on the beach and having all kinds of fun. And
would you like to go to a beach?
No, but...
Because just north of your house is Saylorville.
Yeah.
It's got beautiful beaches.
That's not exactly the same as a oceanfront beach.
You have to imagine.
Oh.
You have to here, just close your eyes with me.
Yeah.
And you got your pants rolled up.
Yep.
And you're walking on the sand and and your toes are going in and out, and then you hear the
yeah, it's warm
of the waves, and then somebody.
That's the seagulls.
Is that the seagulls?
Yeah, that's what that is.
And then all of a sudden, off to the distance, there's what's that little guy? And somebody yells shark.
They're playing.
Yeah. No, anyway. Well, many families and students are back from spring break. Many students, spring break, not just a couple days off from school. Schools give them a week. Some parents let students skip school the Friday before that week off. So schools then added that Friday to the long break, so some parents let their kids skip the day before, too. Dolly Santiago.
Skip all the days. Oh, wait, no.
Quote, I went to Catholic school decades ago. We had off Thursday and Friday before Easter, and maybe the Monday after. Too much time off these days. Mila Rounds, this was on Facebook, by the way, said she doesn't pull her kids out of school early. She wrote, I have personally never pulled my sons out of school for vacation. Summer is just around the corner. I'd like to see them go that Friday and get out another day earlier at the end of the year. Seems like they get too much time off already. However, the kids had something to say. Depends on the cost of the plane ticket and which airport we have to fly out of to get the best price. All right, so it's over with. Spring break is over with. People are back in. See, Easter was so early, or is so early this year. So,
well, I mean, think about that. I mean, the Saturday before Palm Sunday, we had snow. Yeah. I mean, it didn't stick, right? But I mean, there was snow falling on the, and that was really great. My daughter and I were staring out the window on Saturday, just going, if this was December, we'd be giggly happy about it. But it's not December. It's
but it
March.
Didn't impact you at all.
Oh, I know. Well, but you don't want to go out and play in it. I think our producer Ryan went out and ate some snow as it was falling. What? Yeah, he did. He Instagrammed it. I follow him on Instagram. I have proof. There's internet proof.
All right, we're gonna take our next break, and then when we come back, Donald Trump announces his foreign dream team, foreign policy dream team. We've been wondering the kind of people he'd select. Well, you're going to hear some of them when we come back next, and also a little bit later. Did you know the circus was in town?
No, I did not.
Yep, and there were protesters that said, get rid of slavery, animal slavery, as they wore their warm down coats and furs and leather. Hypocrisy. We're coming back live.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Like on the corner.
3:38, 22 minutes before the top of the hour on the 21st day of March in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Let me tell you what the plans are this week. Jesus is on the move with me for some reason. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I like it, but it was like today at the family leaders prayer thing, you know, and the pastor was talking about all the different countries that we probably would be kicked out of public property for meeting there, and then all the places that we'd probably be arrested, and then the places we'd probably be killed. And I just had this feeling. I got teary-eyed, and I don't know. I don't think I had ever felt about how fortunate we are in this country. And I get on the radio sometimes and I yell Christian persecution, and I don't really know what that means compared to Christians who are being beheaded in Syria and Christians in Denmark who really don't have a voice. They're less than 10% in Denmark. And what I had planned on doing, and this was before the family leader thing today, is I texted 3 of my, I have to admit, I texted 4 of them, and one of them couldn't make it. Should I say who it was and embarrass him? No, because it really wouldn't embarrass him. But I could just embarrass him by just making up excuses why he couldn't be there. Like, he couldn't come this week because he's having a seance for all the heathens and pagans up by Story City. Anyway, so on Wednesday, Luke Tim is coming in, and I think we're going to go through, I want to go from Palm Sunday to the resurrection. In Luke would be the book of Luke. I believe, I think Davy Bloom is going to take Matthew, and then Tom Clegg is going to take John, because, you know, John, I mean, I know you already know this, but there's a lot more stuff in John in that week. And so, because I just want to talk more about the gospel. You know, I know the news stuff is important. We don't do that any other time during the day. So that you're going to kind of see that roll in and out of the program this week. A lot more Bible talking. And that doesn't mean it's not your voice I want to hear, because I still do want to hear your voice at 515-240-0077. And, of course, on the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993. And you said that we had a text from Little Oli or something like that. Little Hands Oli?
Chat.
Oh, a chat from Oli.
Oli 10.
What did he say?
Well, he said, sounds like Chris needs a hug.
Oh, that was when the front of the show, when Chris was being so pitifully obstinate. But do you think he needs a hug now?
He always needs a hug.
Does your wife listen to this show?
I hope not.
I've got her text. I could just text her and tell her that you're depressed and you're going to need a hug.
Well, you made me laugh in the break, and got some peanuts, and I'm feeling better.
How did I make you laugh?
I can't talk about it. It's not it's a thing that happens off the mic.
Oh, okay.
Mac's funny.
I don't remember.
It's okay. I do, and it cheered me up. I appreciate it.
All right. So, Donald Trump.
Wait, who's that? Who's Donald Trump? I haven't heard. I'm sorry, that's sarcasm.
I don't know. Did you happen to see Judge Jeanine?
I did. I watched that video that you posted.
Yeah, that was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah, if you're friends with Mac on Facebook, just go to his page and you see this. What's her name, Judge?
I think it's Judge Jeanine.
Jeanine. Scroll. There's a lady. It's a front shot of the gal talking into that video. Click on that and watch it. That was interesting stuff. She seemed to be very pro-Trump, and I'm not necessarily pro-Trump, but it was very interesting.
She's on Fox News Saturday nights.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing she said, and it's interesting because I see politics differently now that Jesus mugged me. I used to think politics was really important, maybe one of the most important things. Certainly nothing probably more important, equally as important as other things.
Like NASCAR?
No. Maybe IndyCar.
Yeah.
Maybe Indy.
Or Nebraska football.
Yeah. But now with Jesus sitting where he is in my life and my identity is in him, and I just can't believe I get to do this the rest of my days, politics has kind of fallen a notch. And so I'm humbler, which I mean teachable. So now I listen to the opposite side with a different kind of ear than I used to. I used to listen to the Democrats, just, you're wrong. Whatever you say, you're wrong. You're a Democrat, right? Okay, you're wrong. And one of the things that Judge Jeanine said that hit me right between the eyes, because it makes sense. It's scary that it makes sense. The Republican establishment is going to do what they can to get Hillary elected. Because when it comes right down to it, there's not much difference between Republicans and Democrats. There's a few social issues, there's a few tax issues. But these people, they got it made, man. Free hairline wherever they want to go, free housing wherever they want to go, their pensions, their security, their food, their, and there. These people have made it. They are the American dream by being an elected official. They'll never want for anything ever again. So they're going to do whatever they can to keep somebody like Donald Trump out. Because Donald Trump is going to shake it up. And I don't know if it'll be a good shake-up or a bad shake-up, but I know the establishments will hate it. Both sides will hate what he's going to do. And so what Judge Jeanine said that I just got to tell you, maybe today's Epiphany Mac Day, because I had a little epiphany while I watched that last night. It makes sense. It makes sense that the two sides behind the curtain, think of Oz, right, the wizard? The two sides behind the curtain are on the same side because they're putting money in each other's pockets. They're debating bills and saying, okay, I'll give you this one, but you got to give me that one. And they're so scared of Donald Trump that they'll do anything to keep the establishment, R or D, in power. And what do you think about that? Does that make any sense to you?
I think that's exactly what she said. I think you hit the nail. I know. I mean, I'm being serious. I think you summarized with what she said very well. It's hard to disagree with that. It's hard to disagree with that only because I definitely could see that. And I would say this, because one way you look at it, it's probably a little conspiracy theory feeling. But if you look at it from a pragmatist perspective, think about Donald Trump's comment in regards to President Obama going to Cuba. The way Trump would have handled his trip to Cuba, according to him, that if Raul Castro's brother would not have come and greeted Trump immediately when he showed up, that Trump would have just turned around and walked away. That kind of hard-nosed business dealings, as you pointed out just now, Mac, is not the way politics is done. No. That's not the way politicians work. They're hard, they're mean, they do deals, but they're always doing deals in a way that's
behind the scenes.
It's behind the scenes.
Not transparent.
And it's there's more compromise typically. You actually, in fact, this election cycle, we actually had, and I think we had people sitting in the chair I'm sitting in right now, talking into this microphone, speaking on behalf of a particular candidate who actually kind of lauded the ability to compromise in some way. I think it was, Carter, Jimmy Carter, who just recently said, too, the thing that he doesn't like about Trump, the thing that he likes about Cruz. Or no, I'm sorry, the thing that he liked about Trump was that Trump was malleable, that we could get him to say whatever we wanted. And I don't know that that's necessarily true, but the idea is that within the establishment, there's more room to negotiate. So I would say on a less conspiracy level sounding way, I think they're trying to defend the way that they do business.
Right.
Republicans are trying to maintain the establishment because this is the way that we do politics, and Trump is going to ruin that if he comes in. It's not so much that they want a Democrat to be in, it's just because they don't even necessarily want Ted Cruz, but Ted Cruz would probably do politics the way that everybody's been doing politics because in a lot of ways he's been involved. I'm not saying he's an insider, I'm just saying he's been involved in the system long enough that he probably negotiates the way that other Washington politicians negotiate.
I think we're going to see whether Judge Jeanine's right by what the Republicans do. I got to tell you, I think it's the Republicans that are planning dirty tricks.
Well, she said something at the end that really scared me, though. I want to talk to you about that.
All right. When we come back, Bob Montserrat's here and you're here. That's what's important. Thanks for listening to The Truth 99.3.
Can I?
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
.350, 10 minutes before the top of the hour. 21st day of March in the Lord's year 2016. For those, well, I've been overwhelmed by the mail. Texts, emails, the Service Legends text line, Facebook. Everybody worried about Frank. Where's Frank been? Because Frank's kind of been absent for the last couple of weeks. And Frank's a good man, but something did happen. He fell in love with a Russian woman, and she turned him on to vodka, and now he's just drunk all the time and eating pork. I hear he's drunk and eating pork.
Wow.
And he didn't even go to church on Saturday.
For our regular listeners, we all know that's absolutely not true.
So, no, Frank will be out one more week. He's been helping his cousin build a building. Frank's very handy that way.
It's really cool. I think he's been working on a Jimmy John's, and they're doing a new one. I thought of him. Well, he's working on the one up in Ames, but there's that new one there on the lower bit of 86 down by. In fact, we were talking about Sam's Club earlier. Down by that Sam's Club, there's a new Jimmy. No, that's not where it is.
It's on 80. It's 86th and University.
I'm sorry, 86th and University. That's not 86 there, but 86th and University.
Yes, they're building
there.
a brand new one there.
It made me think of Frank though, because as I'm seeing a Jimmy John's being built, I think of Frank.
I thought he was going to be here tomorrow to produce.
He'll be here tomorrow to produce, and then I think he's gone the rest of the week. Maybe he's here on Friday. We've got some pastors coming in Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're going to walk through the different Gospels, going from Palm Sunday to the resurrection. And so looking forward to that. And Frank will be here tomorrow with Tom Coates. All right, you wanted to mention something. Chris Roloff, station manager of 99.3 KTIA, weighing in at 271 pounds,
Amen.
Wearing the blue trunks. Go ahead.
Yeah, 271. Amen. I claim that. I weigh 271 pounds.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was Judge Janine Pirro. Is that how you say her name?
Yeah.
You posted a video of her from Fox News on, and I said the thing that scared me at the end of her video, she said this. It's actually quoted. It's the quote on the post. She said, "From the beginning, we knew this," meaning Donald Trump, would be a political revolution. She says, "Be careful, boys. Be very, very careful. You don't want to make this a different kind of revolution." That comment was the comment that scares me. And that's the thing that scares me about Donald Trump. It's not so much could he be a good leader? Is he different than the establishment? Will he get things done? Will he make America great again? I don't know if he'll make America. I don't know. That kind of rhetoric is the rhetoric that scares me.
What did you hear between the lines?
That's a threat.
Okay, all right.
She threatened this because the whole point of her video, was...
Chris, hold on. Who is the threat pointed at? The establishment?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now, but she's not speaking for Donald Trump. She's just speaking from a journalist standpoint that says, listen...
Well, she's speaking it's her opinion. I don't know if she's a journalist at that point. She's ranting. Right, let's be fair. I mean, she's just a U.S. citizen who has a large platform, and she's ranting.
She works for Fox News.
But she's just a regular U.S. citizen that's ranting. That's not reporting. That's opinion. I'm making the distinction between she's reporting facts and she's expressing.
So what's the first thing he criticized me at the front of the show that my forgiveness line isn't good enough. Now he's saying I'm not really a journalist because I have an opinion.
No, that's not what I said. So there's a difference.
Heil Hitler!
I said there's a difference between reporting and expressing your opinion. But anyway, yes, the revolution against the establishment. Because what that appeals to, though, unfortunately, what I've seen, at least in the coverage that I've seen, it appeals to the evil rebellion inside each one of us that says we're not going to take it anymore.
Yeah.
Twisted Sister sang it the best.
Yeah,
we're not going to take it.
The Bernie Sanders and the Donald Trump core, right?
Right. And the thing about that is, as a Christian, I recognize what the Bible says about pride and ego and rebellion, and I recognize all those things as sinful characteristics. Ego and rebellion. So God gives us laws, God gives us rules, God gives us things that he would like us to do, instruction, guidance, and sin is rooted really in rebellion. When you look at the Adam and Eve story in Genesis 3, what Eve really did was simply rebel against God. She joined in with another person who was rebellious, and she rebelled against God. Our sinfulness at its core has a lot of rebellion in it, and Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders appeals to that rebellion inside of us. And I think we see in the media with the fighting on both sides, the way protesters come out to Donald Trump rallies, the way Donald Trump supporters respond to those protesters. I think those violent things are natural responses down the line from a base sinful desire to be rebellious. I'm going to do it my way. Even Frank Sinatra sang about it. I'm going to do it my way, and nobody's going to stop me.
Elvis sang it also, just so you know.
Well, and when Elvis did it, it was pure and holy, and he was righteous. Just kidding. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, both sides of the Trump supporters and the Trump haters are both rebels.
Yeah.
I don't think either one of them are guilty of being are innocent of being rebellious. They're rebellious against some sort of establishment, and I think that creates this violence.
All right. Now, what I would tell you is the people that are protesting against Donald Trump are Bernie Sanders people. So when Bernie nor Trump is the nominee and the establishment steps up in both parties,
right,
and puts Hillary and Ted Cruz in, or whoever it is, who's gonna fight against them? The establishment's they're not gonna get out there and get in rallies and stuff. It's gonna be Ferguson, Missouri.
Right.
I'm not sure it'll be that violent, but why not?
Right. And that's the comment that she made at the end of...
That scares you.
It does scare me. So what we're talking about is Judge Jeanine Pirro from Fox News. You posted her opening statement from her broadcast over the weekend on your Facebook page, Mac, and she talked about how Donald Trump, and I think Bernie Sanders could be the same thing, but Donald Trump really much is fighting the establishment. The establishment is so scared of Donald Trump that they're coalescing behind someone they wouldn't otherwise coalesce behind, and now we're seeing a rising in this rebellion, and her warning is that the establishment needs to be careful. We might not just get a political revolution that's electing Trump. We might get a different kind of, which is the kind of revolution you're talking about. Well, something that rises up that's no longer political. It's not even voting. It's just anger now.
Well, think of the 1968 Republican and Democratic conventions. We're nearing the end of the war. Nixon is running. He's promising to end the war. Johnson has stepped back. McGovern has stepped up to the line. And there was a lot of violence, a lot of protesting. I could see that again this summer. Now, can I really scare you for a minute? Mix in Islam. Mix in these guys that are saying, I'm here to cause havoc in America, and there's going to be all these people, and they're going to be protesting each other for the Trump or for the Bernie or whatever. Now we're going to get in there and we're going to throw some guns and a few suicide bombers, and now you have ISIS on the ground impacting our political system. All right. Thanks for being here today. Chris Roloff is here. Bob Montserrat is here. Ryan's here. Mike's here. I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. I love this job. Couldn't do it without you. We're coming back right after the news update from Salem Radio Network News here on The Truth.